Russia and Belarus carried out one of their largest joint nuclear force drills in years, launching 6 separate types of nuclear-capable missiles in a display of strategic firepower that Moscow says was designed to send a single message: the arsenal is ready. According to Russia's defense ministry, the exercises involved tens of thousands of troops, over 200 missile launchers, more than 140 aircraft, dozens of warships, and nuclear submarines in one of the largest nuclear readiness drills in years. The drills focused on what Russia described as the preparation and use of nuclear forces under the threat of aggression. The defense ministry added that the use of nuclear weapons is an extreme and exceptional measure to ensure national security, but that given growing tensions in the world and the emergence of new threats and risks, Russia's nuclear triad must serve as a reliable guarantor of sovereignty.
The use of such weapons, nuclear weapons, is an extreme, exceptional measure to ensure the national security of our states. But at the same time, given the growing tensions in the world, the emergence of new threats and risks, our nuclear triad, as before, must serve as a reliable guarantor of the sovereignty of the Union State of Russia and Belarus, ensure the resolution of strategic deterrence tasks, maintain nuclear parity, and the balance of power on a global level. Indeed, I fully support your position. We are not threatening anyone at all. However, we do possess such advanced weaponry and we stand ready to defend our shared fatherland from Brest to Vladivostok by every means available to us, and we will do so using every possible method at our disposal. This serves as the sole demonstration on our part, and I believe that you will agree with that assessment.
Russian and Belarusian officials said the drills included launches from land, submarines, bombers, strike aircraft, and surface ships, showing all 3 legs of Russia's nuclear deterrent, plus tactical systems in Belarus. Multiple categories of nuclear-capable systems were launched within the same exercise window, underscoring the breadth of the drill. The breadth of the drill was designed to demonstrate that every leg of Russia's nuclear triad, land, sea, and air, can deliver warheads simultaneously across multiple theaters. This went beyond map table planning. Russia publicly showed live launches from several branches of its strategic and tactical forces. The message was not theoretical. The most powerful weapon tested was the RS-24 Yars intercontinental ballistic missile, the backbone of Russia's land-based nuclear deterrent. The Yars entered service in 2010 and carries multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles, meaning each missile can strike several separate targets with individual warheads. Russian reporting and outside analysts treat the Yars as a core road-mobile, MIRV-capable ICBM in Moscow's land-based deterrent. The Yars is designed to be launched from mobile platforms that can relocate between firing positions, making it difficult to target in a first strike scenario. It is the weapon Russia would rely on most heavily in a strategic nuclear exchange, and during these drills, it was fired live. Russia also launched an R-29 RMU-2 Sineva ballistic missile from a Delta IV nuclear submarine operating in the Arctic. According to reporting on the drill, the Sineva launch was meant to show that Russia's sea-based deterrent can strike long-range targets while operating from protected northern waters. That detail is significant. It means Russia's submarine-based nuclear deterrent does not need to deploy into contested waters to reach its targets. It can fire from positions that are heavily defended by Russian anti-submarine warfare assets and remain within range of every major Western capital. The Arctic launch was a demonstration of survivability, the ability to deliver a nuclear strike even after absorbing a first blow. In Belarus, military units fired Iskander-M tactical ballistic missiles, systems capable of carrying nuclear warheads under Moscow's nuclear sharing agreement with Minsk. The deployment of nuclear-capable Iskanders in Belarus has been one of the most contentious developments in European security since the arrangement was announced. It places tactical nuclear delivery systems within range of NATO's eastern flank without requiring them to be launched from Russian territory. The drill showed Belarusian units operating Iskander-M systems under the nuclear sharing arrangement with Moscow, reinforcing that the deployment is meant to look operational rather than symbolic. Russia's aerospace forces launched a Kinzhal hypersonic air-launched ballistic missile from a MiG-31K strike fighter as part of the exercises. The Kinzhal is an air-launched variant of the Iskander system, designed to be carried by high-speed interceptor aircraft that can reach launch positions faster than conventional bombers. Russia presents the Kinzhal as a hypersonic system intended to complicate missile defense through speed and maneuver. It has been used operationally in Ukraine and is now being exercised in a nuclear role, which means Russia is signaling that its air-launched nuclear capability extends beyond strategic bombers to tactical fighter-based delivery. Tu-95 strategic bombers launched what Russian reporting identified as long-range cruise missiles, likely of the Kh-101 class, a stealth-capable weapon with a range reaching nearly 5,000 kilometers. The Tu-95 is a Soviet-era platform that continues to play a central role in Russia's nuclear strategy. Despite its age, the aircraft's relevance comes from the missiles it carries, not the airframe itself. The Kh-101 can be launched from standoff distances that keep the bomber outside the range of most air defense systems, meaning the aircraft does not need to penetrate defended airspace to deliver its payload. The combination of long range, low radar signature, and nuclear capability makes the Kh-1011 one of the most operationally significant weapons in Russia's cruise missile inventory. One of the launches that drew particular attention was the 3M-22 Zircon hypersonic cruise missile, launched from the frigate Admiral Gorshkov in the Barents Sea. The Zircon travels at speeds of approximately Mach 9 and can strike both naval vessels and ground targets. At that reported speed, Russian officials and many analysts argue it would be extremely difficult to intercept with current defenses. The Zircon represents the cutting edge of Russia's naval strike capability and has been described by Russian officials as a weapon designed specifically to defeat the kind of layered defense systems that NATO has built around its carrier strike groups and coastal installations. Its launch from the Barents Sea demonstrated that Russia can deploy hypersonic naval firepower from its northern fleet directly toward European targets. The nuclear drills did not happen in isolation. Within the same period, Russia launched one of its heaviest overnight assaults of the war against Ukraine, with Russian and Ukrainian reporting pointing to hundreds of drones and large numbers of missiles, with Kyiv emerging as the primary target. Explosions rocked multiple districts across the Ukrainian capital through the night as air defense systems attempted to intercept the incoming barrage. Reporting on the barrage pointed to a mixed strike package of drones, cruise missiles, ballistic systems, and at least one hypersonic weapon, though the full inventory has not been independently pinned down weapon by weapon. Moscow described it as a coordinated effort to degrade Ukrainian operational capabilities deep inside the country. Russia framed the strike as a direct response to what it called Ukrainian terrorist attacks on Russian-controlled territory. At the center of the escalation, according to Moscow, was a drone strike on a teacher training college dormitory in the Luhansk region that killed 21 people and injured dozens, an incident Reuters could not independently verify. Russian President Vladimir Putin described the dormitory attack as a deliberate terrorist act and ordered the defense ministry to immediately prepare proposals for retaliation. Regional Governor Leonid Pasechnik called the attack pure evil and promised what he called deserved and inevitable punishment. The overnight barrage, Moscow says, was that punishment delivered. Before the strike unfolded, the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv issued a warning about a potentially significant air attack, a sign Washington expected something major. That advisory, which in hindsight preceded one of the largest combined missile and drone assaults of the conflict, suggests Washington had intelligence indicating the scale of what was coming. The warning did not prevent the strike, but it did suggest Washington expected a major attack and chose to prepare its citizens for it. The Russian Defense Ministry said the objectives of the strike had been achieved and that all designated targets were hit. Moscow claimed the operation targeted Ukrainian military command and control centers, air bases, and defense industrial facilities. Those claims have not been independently verified. Ukraine has not released a comprehensive damage assessment from the overnight barrage. But the scale of the operation, if the numbers reported by Russian sources are even approximately accurate, represents one of the most concentrated uses of precision-guided munitions and drones in a single night since the war began. The timing of the nuclear drills and the Ukraine strike strongly suggests a linked strategic message. Russia conducted both within the same operational window, creating a message that operates on two levels. The nuclear exercises tell NATO and the broader West that Russia's strategic deterrent is functional, tested, and ready to be used in an extreme scenario. The Ukraine strike tells Kyiv and its allies that Russia's conventional and hypersonic arsenal is already being used and will be escalated further if provoked. The two events together form a single strategic communication. Deterrence at the top, punishment at the bottom, and a warning that the space between the two is narrower than it used to be. So this is what Russia demonstrated in a single week. An RS-24 Yars ICBM from land. A sineva ballistic missile from a submarine in the Arctic. Iskander tactical missiles from Belarus. A Kinzhal from a MiG-31K KH-101 cruise, missiles from two 95 bombers. A Zircon hypersonic from a frigate in the Barents Sea. Then one of the heaviest combined drone and missile assaults of the war into Ukraine, including at least one hypersonic strike, 6 nuclear-capable systems tested, 1 massive conventional strike launched, and a message that the world's largest nuclear power is not just maintaining its arsenal. It is exercising it, deploying it, and making sure every capital that matters is watching. Subscribe to WLA for daily geopolitical analysis.